Well, good morning. It has been a long time since I produced a video, and here I am. Got a lot of things to talk about today, but I'll discuss my plans and what's been happening with me during the course of our morning's fishing or day's fishing. I'm on the east coast of Coromandel, and a lot's happened since we last made a video. So anyway, I'm going to do a bit of fishing. I'm out here to get a good feed and just enjoy the ocean. Alright, I'm just casting soft baits around the shallows to start with. It's pretty early in the morning and it's winter and it's pretty breezy. Look at that dark fish. Nice kelpie. It's my first fish of the day, so I'm going to give it back to Tangaroa to say thank you. And but look at it, nice sort of dark kelpie type fish. First fish of the day and I'm happy, on the board already. Alright, I'm in pretty shallow and I've got a pretty nice fish here. I didn't expect this. Well, casting soft baits around in the shallows, you'd expect this. It's about 10 meters though, so it's not too bad, but yeah, feels like a pretty reasonable fish. Oh, and it just got unhooked. Well, that was pretty bad. So uncoordinated with the cameras. I just lost that fish because I was mucking around trying to get the back camera to go. Just out of touch with doing this filming. It's been a couple of years since I got out and did a bit of filming on the kayak fishing, and so I decided to go out a bit further, try my luck in the deeper water, and use the jigs, and look at what I caught. A pigfish. I'm gonna let this guy go. They're beautiful fish and they are actually really nice eating, but this one's a bit small. But yeah, nice colours on that, eh? Look at that. And look at those teeth. It's from the wrasse family, so they really go hard on your gear. But yeah, cool. On the gan jig, orange gan jig. Bit of paint missing off it, doesn't matter, and that's the result, but we'll let this guy go. All right. Just sort of moving out a bit now with the jigs. And I got a blue cod before, but unfortunately I had a camera malfunction and I have forgotten about what these dilemmas that you have. I'm still running older cameras. I mean, they still work really good, so why replace them? You know, I've got an old Hero 7 and it's still working great. Even the batteries, I've charged them up a bit and had a look. Just this panty snapper on the gan jig, orange gan jig. I just dropped down here. There wasn't a lot on the sounder, but probably 30 centimeters. Not really the size that I like to eat, but yeah. But we'll keep looking. I'm going to head out a bit deeper actually, because really what I would like is some gurnard, and you know, it's certainly that time of the year, and the location that I'm at has gurnard out on the sand, so let's go have a look. Well, all right, I've just come out here looking for these fellas, and first drop with the jig and I score myself a gurnard. It's not quite as big as I'd like, so I might let this one go, but yeah, on the board with the gurnard. Yeehaw, I love these fish. They're beautiful looking. The fins on them are just amazing, but we'll let this guy go. Very cool. Plans coming together already, and we've got an absolute mint forecast today. You know, 2 knots, 1 knot, supposed to be about 1 knot with the odd little blow of 6 knots from sort of 9 o'clock till 12 o'clock, and even after that during the day the most it's going to get to is about 3 knots according to the forecast. But yeah, perfect conditions to get out here and enjoy the great outdoors and have some time on the water fishing. I've got a soft bait on now because gurnard loves soft bait, but it looks like I've got me a snapper. Yeah, just put on a like nuclear chicken jigging grub and upscaled the jig head to a 1/2 ounce, and I'm just dragging along the bottom, trying to hook a few gurnard. But yeah, I've got a snapper here and it feels like it might be a better one too. So yeah, pulling a bit of string. It's coming up. but it's taken its time. Yeah, so while I'm pulling in this fish, I'll talk about, you know, sort of some of the stuff that's been going on since I've been off the grid, let's say, off the video productions. I've had a lot of challenges, to be honest. Some of them have involved some personal things, obviously. Oh, nice snapper. And so yeah, oh, this is one to take home. Definitely. We will put this one in the back for sure. There we go. Woohoo! Good eater size fish. Yeah. Look at that. Nice. Very nice. So yeah, my whole perception of everything has changed since COVID. As you know, I've got a business, and yeah, I've had some challenges with that for starters. I mean, COVID, I don't know what's happened to the world, but everything's changed since COVID. It's like we've almost gone backwards in time, if you know what I mean. Before everybody was thriving and enjoying their, you know, their lives, and then COVID hit, and you know, we ended up with those challenges of lockdowns and tourism changing, and we live in Coromandel, which is a very touristy sort of destination, and since COVID the place has died. I've been living in Coromandel for, you know, what is 23 years, and it's like we've gone back in time 23 years. The place is like a ghost town at times. This comes down to a whole lot of factors, but it's affected what I do. So that's kind of what's happened with me. I've been in survival mode as a business owner and somebody who's been self-employed all their lives. I've had to learn to adapt to whatever comes my way, economically and whatever else. And I've had my share of it, I can tell you that. I've had various entrepreneurial activities going. I'm the first kayak fishing guide in the country who no longer does that. Taught a lot of people how to fish off kayaks, and, you know, have such a huge passion for the ocean environment and the natural environment, obviously, and that's been reflected in a lot of my artwork. So yeah, so going now to the future and what I intend to do, some of the ideas that I have now for making videos is, you know, reel screaming kayaks, that kind of format's sort of changed now, and I think that's the last. I made the last show a long time ago, and now it's just time to make videos and sort of be a bit more personalized. But one of the things that I thought about, as well as the fishing obviously and some diving, I don't dive a lot these days because it's so upsetting seeing what's happening around our coastline. It's hard to swallow. So I've, you know, sort of, oh, there we go, hooked up. I've sort of, you know, had to handle it, and it hasn't been easy, I'll be honest. So basically what I'm sort of thinking about here is the future of making these videos. How can I do something and change it up? And lifestyle would have to be one of the things that I'm really thinking about concentrating on. Not just the fishing and the diving and going out and gathering a feed, but also lifestyle stuff. You know, I'm an avid grower of veggies. I have veggie gardens. In fact, while I've been, you know, resting up and recollecting my thoughts about the future, I've also, you know, been making plans to sustain myself more. I want to be more sustainable. I don't want to rely on the system, and I think that what's happening with the system is just a small snapper on a nuclear chicken minnow. What I think people need to think about now is we need to start growing. You know, one of the problems we've got is environmental with our carbon footprints and all that. But it's easy to grow stuff. You know, people say in the city how they've got no space. Pots. I've grown some amazing stuff in pots. Tomato plants. I'll tell you an interesting story about that. I I basically grew some tomatoes from a tomato that had been cut in half, and while it was sitting, the seed sprouted, which was really amazing. So I took it on myself to plant these seeds and just see where I got with them. I put them in little 30-centimetre pots, not big pots, but a potting mix and that, germinated them, raised them, planted them in these pots, and the crop was amazing. I'll hopefully I can find the photo for you. I've got some photos of it. They were huge. They produced, you know, a good 80 tomatoes, and it proved to me then that you don't need a lot of space. They were growing on my deck. I had some bamboo stakes tied up, and they were just growing amazingly. So I want to show people that way of life, you know. Also, I've taken up a little bit of land-based fishing. That's what I used to do before kayak fishing. I've lived on the barrier. I was born and bred in Wellington. I lived on Great Barrier Island, where I land-based a lot, a little bit of kayaking, mostly land-based, and I did some amazing missions, you know, caught some amazing fish off the rocks. But it was all about being there. It wasn't so much getting out there and catching fish, you know. It was about, I'm out there and I'm doing this, and you know, I'd quite often spend 24 hours on the rocks. Oh, hooked up again. Oh, this feels good. This one's a bit bigger. And nice. And yeah, basically just, you know, like trying to have the time, you know, escaping your normality of life with work, and just getting out there and watching the world as it does a full cycle over 24 hours, which is so cool to do. So I'm thinking I'll feature some of that, and I'm going to continue to feature products and things. I'm not sponsored anymore by anybody. I have no sponsorship. That was the other thing that dried up from COVID. So I'm now making these videos totally on my own back, and majority of them were anyway. But oh, nice fish, another eater. I'll put this one in the back too. So, you know, I'm looking for fish like this these days, and the one I had before. Nice sort of 38-centimetre snapper, great eating size. Just cast out. Hopefully a gurnard this time. That's what I'm here for more than the snapper, but I have got to feed a snapper. Yeah, so going back to what my plans are. So I'm going to feature some lifestyle stuff, and I'm really keen to hear some feedback from you in the comments. I'm watching to see who's commenting, and look, you know yourself, the more interaction you have with these videos, the more they get shared around. And my mission is to try and educate people to better living, you know. So it's not just going to be about New Zealand kayak fishing anymore. That will be included, but also about lifestyle. So I just want to keep showcasing the outdoor environment, but you know, be it going to the beach with your partner and setting up, lighting a fire, cooking a feed on it, you know, all those things that we can still do in New Zealand, and that I want to encourage everyone else in this country and the world to enjoy. You know, life's for living. So anyway, how do you feel about that? Do you want some more lifestyle stuff? Do you want to see, I already do some cooking things for you, show you how to cook things, how to make things, different recipes, but is there anything else you'd like me to show you? People often ask me about my gear. So maybe I start to feature some of the equipment I've been using for years and years and still use, and you know, is tried and tested. I quite often talk about it a lot in the show and the videos I do, but yeah, give me your feedback. All right, I'm really keen to hear from you now, so that I can get some more direction with how this video channel is going to go. I really appreciate you watching, and it's a bit of a spiel what I'm talking about here, but I think it's really important to make you aware of what's changed, what's coming, and what's happening. And I think I need to make you aware of what's happening with our marine environment too, especially in the Hauraki Gulf. It's changing. So yeah, anyway, on with the fishing. I've had a little bit of a shift around, and catching fish But I've really been sitting here relaxing. It's been so nice. The sun's beaming down on me. It's just so pleasant and so relaxing. And I've swapped back to the orange gan jig because I was doing so well on it. And yeah, it's just caught 2 fish, one after the other. Both been put back. But yeah, it just shows how effective these gan jigs are. You know, like I was losing a few soft baits, so they were getting bitten by smaller fish. But now I'm like, you know, swapped to the gan jig, the fish are on. And I thought, oh, the fishing's been a bit slow because it is a supermoon, as you would put it today. Worst day probably to go fishing, but I don't know, you know, about that supermoon and all that sort of stuff. It is what it is, but I just love getting out fishing, so to me it doesn't matter what the moon's doing. Sure, there's it can be a bit slower, but whatever, you know, it's just more about getting out here. I've got 3 fish in the back, so I've already secured myself a nice feed of snapper, but I'd really like some other species, and I've been trying to catch some gurnard. You know, I really like gurnard. I love eating them, and but I just can't seem to find them again. You know, we caught that one earlier, but that's all I've seen. Anyway, we'll keep trying, and it's just beautiful to be out here on the ocean. There we go. So this is, I'll show you the kind of fish I've been pulling up constantly. This one's probably about the same size. Nothing really huge to write home about. I'm in about 25 meters odd sort of thing to 30, I think 31, sorry. So it's quite deep. So what I'm doing is when I'm bringing the fish up, I'm actually, once I see them, I take my time bringing them up, but then I let them sit, like I can just see this fish on the edge of my visibility now. So I'm just letting it sit there so that it blows some air, and then I'll start winding it a little bit more, just slowly bringing it up. And this is just to help the fish go back again. Especially some of these, they're not the biggest. So yeah, this one has blown some air. There we go. And here it comes. So yeah, not a huge fish at all. But the gan jig seems to be doing the damage. So I'll keep persevering. I've got a few good fish, like I say, to eat. And you know, it's just nice being out here. Nice little snapper. Off she goes. Alright, hooked up on something a little bit better. Nice, actually trying to pull line off the rod, off the reel. I'm running a Penn Slammer 3 on this with the Taikabura rod. Awesome combination. I love these Penn Slammers too. IPX6 rated, which means they're fairly waterproof, perfect for things like the kayak where they're in close proximity to the water. It's coming up anyway, this fish. Feels like it's a reasonable one, might go in the back for dinner, you know. I love these jigs, man. They're just amazing. If there's anything that is more consistent, this would be it. These things are just proven performers in my books. Yeah, and that's why I use them so much. In fact, I'd probably use these more than the soft baits these days because, oh yeah, nice fish, nice eater. Woohoo! Beauty. Another thing I've been doing with snapper probably the last couple of years is bleeding them. You know, we bleed all our other fish like kingfish, and there we go. Nice eater. That is a beautiful fish. So to bleed a snapper, bail arm obviously, always open that bail arm when you get your fish on board. So to bleed the snapper, it's a case of in the gills here, and I do this for about a minute, so if I can show you, in the gills there, and I just cut in the gill rakers there, and you can see the blood just flows out of there. 1 minute, So I'll leave them bleeding for a minute on the deck of the kayak, and I can do this in this kayak. And for all you people who don't like blood, don't look, but you can see there it's bleeding. So 1 minute, and I tell you what, the eating quality of a snapper when you bleed it is like, there's no comparison. They keep longer as well, so when you put them in the fridge, they'll keep for 7 days and still taste really good. But yep, try it. So once that fish is bled out, which there we go, I've taken the Dan jig out of the mouth. Once it's bled out for about a minute, then I eki it. Put it down as quick as possible after that. But the eating quality of the fish is just incredible. The difference, you know. We do it with a lot of other species. We also, you know, when we kill a beast or whatever, we always hang them up, we bleed them. So it makes sense to do the same with your snapper. But while I've got you here, have a look at this gan jig. This is producing the goods, and it's missing half the paint off the tip of it, but still the fish seem to want it. Speaks for itself, really, doesn't it? Well, back on shore now. What an awesome day it was. Caught a lot of fish and put a lot of fish back, but that sun is certainly beaming down, and it's very hot considering we're in sort of still in winter and towards the end of winter. But beautiful day, what a great time, and I hope you enjoyed it. Look, please leave your feedback. I'm really keen to hear what you think. I'd like to know what you would like me to do in the future. If there's anything in particular, let me know. Anyway, that's it, and thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.